Talafalava, thank you for joining me today. First, we ask our Heavenly Father, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit to bless this show with divine wisdom. This is a talk show where we celebrate, debate, question, interview topics that are happening around the whole of the Moana Pacific. I have once again the special guest, Honourable Tuilaepa, former Prime Minister of 22 years and currently the opposition leader of Samoa. It's a pleasure to have you on again on the show, Dr. Tuilaepa. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much for continuing our program. Great opportunity also for me as leader of our HRPP opposition against the government of the day. And it's a pleasure to meet up with you.
Thank you, Honourable, for your time. Look, I just want to get straight into the major news. We're slowing things down now. We're starting to kind of get to the source of the issues that are stemming out of Samoa. So there's not much to answer about the noise outside. It's more of the inside noise, which is the source of there's no money. And we just recently seen on the news $35 or $34.9 million deficit. And we've mentioned it early last week on Sunday. This is a big news coming out of Samoa. In your time, has this ever happened in your time to have $35 million spending over the limit of your quota?
Well, it is a long time ago. But what was important in our time was that we tried to ensure that all our debts, international debts and local debts are paid as the highest priority. And then what is left should be sufficient to cover ordinary expenses for the running of the government. We call it current expenditure. And that is where every democratically run government must try to minimize the current expenditure so that there is something left over for development. That's the three categories of expenditure that must be incorporated in the budget. What we have noted in the budget that was tabled in Parliament is there is enough to meet our debts, both overseas and local debts, and barely enough to meet maintenance expenditure. And there is nothing available left over for development. And so all the development expenditure, which is most important, is targeted in the hope of getting some overseas source to fund the development. And all those developments represent the deficit. And deficit is defined as spendings above monies that flow in. So it is an overspending. And to us, I remember I am talking to people generally who do not understand the technical terms. And I'm trying to simplify the language that I am using. So what's happening is that the proposed revenue for next government, for the next year, has been artificially inflated so as to meet the different items proposed for development. Uh, it is ridiculous to see that whereas the next year is going to be extremely difficult, what with the many problems that we are facing today, and the problems facing the world, and the expected revenue from expected rise in imports and expected profit has been boosted artificially to ensure that the figures exceed last year's figures. I think the government forgot that they informed us last year the revenue would continue to decline until 2028. So we know the budget has been over budget artificially, because all these are pure guesswork. The only time that we know exactly what we got and what we spent is come the end of the next financial year, and the books are written up, the financial statements are audited, and then we know exactly how much we actually received and how much we actually spent, to know the actual overspending. So as it is now, all we are dealing with is just a lot of make-up figures.
Man, it's scary when you talk about it, Honourable. Just talking more about the processes of the auditing. I've heard that the Prime Minister has mentioned in grey lines that they have going to look to get someone else to do the auditing process. I'm not sure if that's right, but if that's right,
He's talking about re-auditing what has already been audited of what we did in the past years.
Oh, okay.
Trying to find out somewhere to criticize me and the previous government so as to get some points. He is still continuing with the ridiculous politics they played when they came over, when they became the government under the leadership of Fiame. It's a waste of money. Apparently, the report was finished, and they said nothing about it until Fiame opened up when she was no longer the prime minister and questioned another audit which Lauli has already spoken about, of the same stuff. And Fiame said it's a waste of money. The report from the audit that was already tabled in cabinet really has nothing much in it to question the operation of the budget by our government at the time. Remember, Fiame was also part of that government.
Yep, that's right, Honourable. You're talking about grants to help out with, these type of scenarios. I just put a statistic from the Sama Observer. They mention here a drop from grants from 43.3 million down to 12.4 million. Honourable, this is crazy if this figure is right. I mean, to the time when you got it up to the amount, many millions that you've mentioned to bring in through grants, is this an example of the politics or the diplomacy IQ of the leaders that are running the country? Is this a telling sign that the grants are this low, Honourable, or is there another reason for this?
Well, the Observer has has published what what they have read. We will address the Parliament at our meeting this week.
Yep. Okay.
And the details will come out of the addresses by the members of Parliament. I do not want to confuse the audience right now.
Yep.
We will now have the opportunity to talk about it. And I am sure Lauli will again try to interfere with our members' speeches so as to cause more confusion and for listeners not to understand the exchange we are going to have when Parliament meets day after tomorrow.
I was just about to say, Honourable, because it just seems every time it comes down to the money, when we're talking about where's the money going with the fast government, it seems that they find a way to direct or deflect their attention to something else. And then last time it was talking about your Fontoy, Honourable Fontoy, who was accused of drugs, signing off drugs. These are the types of things that the government do really well. Do you think they can get away with, do they have to give the figures? I mean, at the end of the day, they have to bring forward the figures. Is that right, correct, Honourable?
Well, they have to respond to questions by our members. And they will try their best to confuse the listeners. There will be interruptions, but it is meeting with the media that the audience will better understand what we are getting at in Parliament. And that is why the government is trying very hard to lay down threats against the media and against us when we discuss these things that ought to be talked about in Parliament. The problem is every time we talk facts, it hurts. And they try to intervene to disturb the chain of thoughts expressed by our members and to cause more confusion. So, which is why I like this kind of meeting with you members of the media who report and also explain the hard facts that we talk about, given your understanding following exchange with me and other members of our party.
Yeah, the media has kind of been suppressed by the looks of it from outside, and you say that point is very true. The 4 banks reject the overdraft. You touched on it last week, Honourable, but the overdrafting system that they try to propose, which is, for the banks to reject, is that a sign of a bad relationship? And also, Honourable, on top of that, I laughed a little bit yesterday because I remember the time of scenarios like this. This is a perfect time to call our friends the IMF. And I always, think back to the Prime Minister saying, who are these guys to flex their muscles around us, Your thoughts about this? Is it a bad relationship so far with the fast government and the banks so far, Honourable, do you think?
Well, this is the kind of time that Lauli will crawl on his stomach to beg help from the IMF. But the fellow doesn't understand these finer requirements of keeping your operation above uh, uh, the stupid deals that you enter into, because these outside organizations will never help a government who steal from public funds uh, and misuse public funds. The IMF and all donors will refuse to help when they know that the government is so crooked that it is a waste of their own money paid by their own uh, taxpayers. And it is a waste to give assistance to a country through budget support when the party in government continues to misuse public funds and taxpayers' monies from donors like New Zealand and Australia and Japan.
Yeah, I've been looking online, Honourable, and I've seen former FAST members who used to be with the FAST party coming out and saying some things, saying that the way the politics at the moment is starting to look corrupt. Also, I hear that they. It is good to hear. I think one of the radio hosts, Shoeli, I listened to him. He was talking to Leatanu, and some of the stuff they're saying. It's almost like the inside gossip of how they ran when he was in the fast, and how the people are being, brainwashed, and just moved along after just having a party, and still following in whatever the Laoli says. Honourable. I just wanted to ask about the stance of this. Is politics going the right way? Are we being too harsh, being the opposition leader, or is this the right direction to keep pushing the truth out?
What we are trying to tell our country and explain our country, this is our role. To question the government on whatever abuse that crops up. And the government is required under our laws to respond. Now, our people in New Zealand and Australia should have listened to the debates in their own parliament. And they should therefore understand that the exchanges between the government and also opposition parties are even worse. It's much worse than what is happening in Samoa, because there is a deep tradition of respect between the leaders. So when we say things, we always use the language of the leaders. And yet, especially those from overseas, they continue to blast our members as what we are doing is very bad. We are plotting against the government of the day. They should address and look at what Lauli is doing. The damage that he has done to this country is enormous, particularly the damage that he has done to the culture of Samoa and the respect that traditional leaders command. As you've all heard, he has directed that one district leaders must come and beg for his forgiveness. And he used monies to lure them to come and formally bow to him. This is a lot of rubbish. This is a lot of rubbish from a leader who despises and who our culture and who is determined to cripple the leaders of the country in the villages and using money to beg them to come and bow before him. And that is why when I look at our leaders who do these things, money becomes the idol. And they forget the huge responsibility of leaders to lead the people well. That is why one leader, on the occasion of the ceremony, opening ceremony, caught up and practically told off loudly for these stupid things that he has been doing to destroy the culture and leadership in the country. The important speech by this leader was he was the leader who lead the talolo, the presentation of monies and fine mats. And yet he practically reprimanded loudly for the lot of stupid things that he is doing to destroy this country's honor, especially of representatives of all districts and members of the whole country of Samoa. Lauli never said a word. He was embarrassed, being told off by the leading orator from his district. And he was the only leader, I think the gentleman was over 80 years, who had the courage, the skill, the deep knowledge of the Bible and culture, that he got up and had that courage to practically, in the presence of thousands of people, and whilst the whole of Samoa is watching, he practically reprimanded the stupidity of the Prime Minister, their member of Parliament.
It's a big. I saw the video, Honorable, and yeah, he stood up. You know, that's what I think of. You know, not afraid to speak up the truth. Whether all the people are there for one occasion, he still stands there and he speaks the truth. You know,
I think following his speech, all those who spoke, including the delegation from American Samoa, must have felt small because they know that they too committed a big mistake by respecting this crooked leader in front of them.
That's exactly right. You know, with another thing from that video, and also during the whole ceremony, during the whole week, they wear a lot of red, Honourable. And when I think about it, right, you know, fast even for your mayor's time, you know, they wore red every time they had a chance. Even on the world stage, they was trying to wear a red coat. I thought this is the problem that we have within our country. It's almost like if you're not with the red, you're against us. And I'm thinking, I'm asking you, Honourable, did you wear a coat blue, anything blue in your
You
time?
know, you know, blue is the official color of the government of Samoa right from day one when we became independent. That is the official color for all the official wear of all the people of Samoa when they attend important ceremony, especially when they go out competing in international sports. Blue is the color of Samoa, which reflects the color of the blue sky, and the blue ocean, uh, the Pacific. And Lauli and Viame came and adopted the color red, which is the color of the football team of Tonga. Uh, so, to me, I think they are Tongan.
The sea of red. It does look like that when you look at the Independence Day, Honourable. Do you think the red is enforcing? It's almost like, you're not thinking about it, but when you're seeing red in Samoa, does it reflect that, oh, you're a fast, straight away, or, if you're wearing blue, you are HRBP? Is that the feel over there, Honourable?
That's right. Red is the color of blood. That's the color of blood, red. So I do not know which blood they are after to spill. It's all stupid. Even talking about the Mao movement, it was aimed at the cruel New Zealand rulers who were in Samoa. So I do not know why they walk around with the Mao black lava with a white strip.
Right, yeah.
I don't know which outsiders they are against. That shows the kind of mentality they want to bring, the feeling of the past, and try to get our people to follow them as being the carriers of the Mao movement against the European.
Yeah.
So I don't know which European they are against. It shows the weak mentality that are being displayed by the current leadership of FAST and the former leadership of FAST.
Honourable, you say that the part here you mentioned, the $5 million video, I did a short video. A lot of people commented a lot of negative stuff and a lot of positive stuff. But, the $5 million that the FAST has spent compared to your $200,000 to $300,000, a lot of comments come through and they say, Lauli had done this for the people and for our forefathers. We deserve a party like this. And I was saying all this stuff to kind of back Lauli. But I said back to what you said, money doesn't grow on trees. The money doesn't come from the air. Now we can see what the issues that are happening right now.
We can use all money in the world just to drink beer and celebrate. We can, if we give priority to party and no work. But where are you going to get the money to run the country? This is the kind of stupid mentality that comes out of FAST. When Jammeh came in, she opted for a whole year of celebration. which carry them for fundraising in Australia, New Zealand, and America. And at one time, they decided to have a specific fundraising for their building. They had near 1 million, which they currently use, to pay off the debts of Lauri, the debts to Lauri, And now people who gave this money did not seem to understand what they are doing. They seem just to go along. What about their kids that needed money for their education? What about their relatives here who are looking after their property, their lands, their houses, and their titles? They completely ignore them and told them, if you vote for Tuilaepa and HRPP, we're not going to send any more money to you. So that's why a lot of local voted for fear this money from overseas Samoans, their own blood and bones, will not come to them because they want Lauri to become the government. Why? Because they understood, they believe his lies. That we sold the traditional lands to China. Secondly, that I use government money to buy a lot of homes overseas. I own no home anywhere in the world. And I don't own all the lands in Apia. I only have my own home on a piece of land that I bought when I came back from New Zealand from monies I earned when I was working, still as a student, and working in to prune government lands that I got a job for, and I also work in a freezing works. So I accumulated some savings because my family did not have anywhere to stay in the city. And I also know when I come back and work for the government, I have to live in the city. So I came back with my savings when I was a student and working. I was able to buy this piece of land that I am still living in together with our children. And all from the land, from the jobs, hard labor that I did when I was a student working during the holidays. And all these stupid accusations were responsible for people not voting for our government. And now they are suffering. They put in a liar. And his cohorts to run this country, and he's still lying up to his teeth.
You mentioned lie, Honourable. I watched a little bit of the Independence Week, and I seen Archbishop Mosese in his speeches. He was saying, "Stop lying to the people." He said to the people, "Stop lying." And again, you mentioned it as well. That's the thing that's dividing our people. It's the lies that are being told, and now
they are so obvious.
Yes, it's so obvious now.
So obvious, so terrible. And the fellow does not stop lying. just about every time, every week that he opens his mouth, another new lie comes out. And I think he's running out of supply of lies.
Well, that's the next question, Honourable. I'm not sure if I'm not seeing it on my news feed or it's not coming up, but I usually see a press conference with the Prime Minister every week. But I'm not sure if he's avoiding the press or he's very busy at the moment.
For many weeks, he has stopped his meeting with the selected few of the media, those who would not put in questions that would put him on the spot. More or less, those who are in friendship with him. I think he is beginning to run out of responses to the many things that he has promised and never did.
I think he is, Honourable. It sure does look like that. You know, talking about promises, Honourable, the story here about the Samoa Plains, the initiative to kind of fundraise to bring money in. And when I looked at the figures, 459,000 raised, 77% from Samoan locals. So that means majority of the money is from in Samoa. That doesn't work well, Honourable. If you're going to fundraise for a plane, you need the diaspora to be on top of this. Honourable, what's your thoughts on this? Is this another failed project?
I have been saying all along, you can never fund a Boeing 737-800 on savings from our people. Never. But the PM believe it. So after exhausting all avenues, the Prime Minister must now believe that he cannot operate a Boeing 737, naming it with the name of Salafite, and another one to be named after Upolu, the big island. Previously, he announced that it will be in the run before the end of this year. Now, the Minister of Finance has said it will never be until around about 2030 or later. So this is another lie to our people.
Honourable, I just thought about, what you said there is 100% correct. And, we also have these little issues. I said to you, this is the source, but now these little issues, we can see why Safata $10 million has not been paid out. We can see why the weightlifters haven't got their prize money that they were promised on Independence Day. We can see why. The $35 million that has been behind for the government. This $35 million, this equals loans. That means, could we see taxes being risen up in Samoa from this type of deficit, Honourable? Is this how bad it's going to get?
Well, the fact that the government is not able to even borrow from any of all of our trading banks is an embarrassing disclosure. People call it insolvency. The government is insolvent. Others call it bankrupt. The government is bankrupt. and what the government in is bankrupt. They ought to get the hell out of the government before further embarrassments will befall on this country and the greater sufferings that will follow. Uh, this is indeed an extremely embarrassing thing to happen to a government that has been rejected a request for loan
Well said, Honorable.
for to finance its program out in the villages, because a lot of money have been misused. It is the only way when a country's money is misused and there is no control, because now it is given to the members of the Fast Party to do as they like, to distribute to their supporters, to ensure that they continue to support the Fast for the next election, which means for the next 4 years, all they will do is to use all the money to be spent on whatever the supporters may do on expenditure that are illegal.
Honorable, this part from the scenario here, this question that's popped in my mind. If you were in the opposition side as a FAST member, right now, with all this scenario happening with the financial issues and stuff, what would you do? Or what advice would you give to your fellow MPs and parliamentarians if they're in the scenario right now, as you can see the ship falling, it's sinking. Honorable, what are your advice?
If I were a member of the FAST, a member of parliament, and have the courage to speak up, I should be prepared to be kicked out. Because there's only one person who directs everything loudly. No one must question loudly. Incidentally, there are some of them who are educated, or ought to have been educated, but they just go along. And I'm sure the reason why they go along is because they also benefit from these funds that are being misdirected and illegally distributed for the next re-election. I do not know whether that will still stand up now that more and more people now believe in what we have been saying all along. Although this country is a Christian country, many pay lip service to the Word of God. But when money comes up, they just discard their belief and follow the illegal activities done. I think some are beginning to wake up. Some are beginning to wake up after they saw very clearly in the illegal opening of the administration building, which was very odd. It's funded by Australia. It is not finished. Probably it will take the rest of this year to be completed. So why why the ceremony for its completion? It was all an excuse for the district supporting the fast to use monies allocated for their projects to bring and give lawful presents, huge envelopes to Lauli, the head of state, three council members of the council of deputies, the Speaker of the House, and also the Chief Justice. No more. All the huge fine mats that were bought went to these 5 or 6 people. And nothing, no member from our party was recognized and was honored. It was only when the ceremony was finished and the government, as usual, need to make presentations to the overseas visitors that came, especially American Samoa, that I found out they decided to make a presentation of a huge pig and file mat and an envelope, which when the ministry came to present to me, I decided to take the pig, huge pig, carve it up into pieces and distribute it amongst the MPs of our party that were ignored. There was no other occasion that our leaders, religious leaders and leaders of the country, eyes were open to what is happening to this country's highest lawmaking body. It was all useless. Lauli, the prime minister, is the all power. That's what the country saw. It is the greatest. It was the greatest stupid, extremely stupid ceremony that was made. Unnecessary and extremely stupid.
One thing I respect about Samoan, especially the Samoa, the chiefs, when they talk their mind, they speak their mind. And one thing I recall when one of the stories you mentioned back in your time, when you took on the leader of your own party, and it's not because you wanted to be powerful or anything like that. You actually thought the decision that he had made with I think it was the New Zealand citizenship, was wrong. And so there was a very tense moment there. And this attitude of standing up for what's right, especially with all the MPs in the fast side, it's that energy, that's the real mau that I believe you see back in the day. It wasn't just under one person. When you see a Makai sitting, there's many different Makais and they speak back forward. I see my grandpa sit there and other Makais talk back there what they think, And I thought that's the beauty of Samoan culture. Not anymore, Honourable. It seems like it's going towards another direction. I really hope the MPs sitting in Parliament start to think about Samoa in the future for us that are young as they're coming up in the generations to come. Honourable, I just want to finish off not a good note, but on a note on Lakapi Samoa. We see Moana, we're not sure if they're going to come back, Moana Pacifica, but Lakapi Samoa in general, the debate's still there. I mean, to me, the government should get out of this scenario and stop trying to, again, destroy this Lakapi Samoa's good works that it's trying to build. Honourable, does this, what's happening with the budget now? Is that enough to kind of say, Laoli, I think you guys got no ground to stand on when it comes to your knowledge of trying to stand to try and do better for the Samoan rugby. Honourable, what's your thoughts on this? Because they're still debating to try and merge the two together. But I strongly disagree on this type of.
Well, the World Rugby has given its decision. It is either the current leadership which take over after I left shall be the only board the world rugby will recognize, because it coincides their power, the appointments, what they do coincides with the constitution of Lakapi Samoa, a constitution that was written up with the participation of the World Cup special, to ensure that we have a standard provisions which govern the sport of rugby by all the unions in countries recognized and members of World Rugby. And to make matters more clear, I, as chairman of Lakapi Samoa, is a member of the World Council, where we sit together, debate, and make decisions for the future of rugby in the world. When I decided to move forward my departure from the board, that I was coming to the end of my current appointment, and I did not want to renew my term. My thoughts were to remove myself, and thus ended what Lauli is trying to do, to introduce politics into the running of rugby, which the World Rugby will certainly use to remove Samoa, Manu Samoa, from ever participating in World Rugby again. That's what I was frightened of. But what happened was, when I decided to step down, it sharpened his determination to remove the board as well. That is too much. And the World Rugby has also advised Lauli of what it would do if he insisted on setting up another rugby union, which will never be recognized by the World Rugby. I want to say this to prepare all the parents in Samoa of what Lauli is doing to destroy the future of our young boys and girls. who play the game of rugby. It's okay to be an idiot in matters of politics, uh, but it is ridiculous to extend his stupidity to the running of rugby and all sports.
Well said, Honourable. That's my last question there, Honourable. If there's anything else you want to talk about, the floor is yours.
No, this is a democratic country. What I say is what all opposition leaders and opposition members do in their relevant democratic run countries, in New Zealand and in Australia. And I want to use this opportunity also to speak my mind in accordance with our oath that we took on the day when we were sworn in as new members of parliament in this term, the current term. And I recall also, for the attention of the audience, that after our ceremony, the speaker advised us to take the Bible each one of us was using, the Bible provided by Parliament, that we take the Bible and read it word for word and try to follow the word of God, from whom blessing will come. So I thank the speaker for reminding us what we must do. I took my Bible and I read my Bible. And on the basis of what I read, I am now speaking directly on what the Lord advises us to do. And that is to walk on the path of righteousness and speak out against evil and wicked actions that come our way. And if we don't, then we are never suitable to go to paradise that the Lord has prepared for us. And so, if any of the members of the Fast Party, including the Prime Minister, is listening to me right now, my greatest advice is to turn away from the illegal things that he has done. Read the Bible and get the message of God. To be honest and stay away from using this country's taxpayers' sweat for their own illegal use. It is okay to be kind to the country using your own money, but to appear kind to the country and abusing the law, using the money that belongs to the public, that is absolutely a crime that can never be accepted by God. And that is the sole reason why I continue to appear and play my own role, speaking without fear, even if I am taken again to the court of law to do my duty as is provided, my rights, that is recognized under the Constitution of Samoa, where I am free to express my opinion and free to adore a faith that I have selected. And so, with these words, I am not doing it out of evil. Mm-hmm. I'm doing it for the benefit of our people. We need good leaders who do not waste public money. Good leaders who observe the law. And that is my recommendation to the leader of this country, the Prime Minister and his cabinet. And given these comments, I thank you for the program. And I also wish all the people that are tuning in to have a good night's rest. And I also give the same wish to our Prime Minister and his cabinet to have a good night's rest. And if they are listening, to have good consideration of what I spoke about. Because what I spoke about did not comprise words to damage their reputation. What I speak about is exactly repeating the words of our Lord to people who commit crimes against the law of God, the Ten Commandments, upon which every law is based on. Every law in all countries is based on. So I wish the Prime Minister and his cabinet a good night's sleep, as well to the head of state, council deputies, and all members of parliament. All the members of parliament a good night's rest.
Thank you, Honourable.
And blessing from our God, who is the founder of our government of Samoa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable. Have a good week and your week ahead in Parliament. Just finished our conversation with the Honourable Dr. Tuilaepa, and another good insight of what's happening in Samoa. It's always good to see the insight of from the perspective of the opposition leader. You know, when things are like this happen, you know, you always think about who's the person who is sitting across from the Prime Minister, and that's the Honourable Dr. Tuilaepa. And so you know, for us to have him on the show, it's such a blessing, and for us to, you know, question him with different understandings, different questions that are, you know, that are being asked by everyone around, by many Samoans around the world. What about this and what about that? This is where we have the opportunity to ask, as professional as we can, you know, because it's not just one of those ask anything you want, you know, because we've got to remember this man is a well-respected senior member of Parliament, and not only that, he's a High Matai. And so there's a lot of things to take into consideration when I'm trying to ask him questions. So I have to be respectful. But it's no lie, it's no hiding that this is it's starting to get a little bit ugly for the government of Samoa. $34.9 million in the debt of the quarter that has come in, meaning the $35 million they have spent more than they have collected for this quarter. And yeah, it's not a good look. But then, you know, we don't want to over exaggerate stories, but it is a kind of a bad look what's happening with this quarter, and because we have many things that Samoan, there's many projects, there's many compensation payouts that are still waiting for the money to be pushed into their accounts. The $10 million from the Safata have been waiting since last year, 2025, October. The $10 million that was given from the government of New Zealand had been given to Samoa, and so they're waiting for that payout. It hasn't come through. And then now the weightlifting have saying that they haven't been given any prizes for their accomplishments in the recent games. Compensation for the power, the people who have lost damages from their appliances and their business, they said they were going to pay back that money through compensation. Still hasn't been seen. And then also the schools one. This is the big one. You know, this disability schools are affected. A lot of these disability schools, special schools to help the disabled, and also other schools and public sectors to help with their school funding, $18.5 million. That's supposed to be rolled out, and it's been put on hold because the Prime Minister has said it's gone to auditing. You know, that's the reason why it hasn't been rolled out for this year. So, like, we're all asking questions and trying to figure it out, but we don't get the answer from the Prime Minister. He seems to just kind of deflect it with an excuse. Oh, it's called the auditing. Oh, you know, yes, you know, Safata's still waiting. We need your bank accounts again. Oh yes, check your bank accounts to make sure that it's in. You know, these little lies that are being told by the Prime Minister, you know, it adds up, and people are starting to see the pattern here. So that, you know, to kind of say that, you know, there's no local leanga here. It's if this was a Palangi media that was coming here, John Campbell came here to kind of do a story on Samoa, on the updates, mate. It would literally, it's a all-you-can-eat buffet for John Campbell. Just so much stories that he can pick from. And this is how bad it's got for Samoa. And yeah, to kind of hit on those points and to have it in English, what a luxury, you know, because, you know, a lot of the content that's said in online, it's a lot of Samoan-based content. You know, it's just Samoan language. But to get it in English to the opposition leader, it's such a luxury for us, especially diaspora, from outside, to kind of see what's happening. Now, you know, like, we see the Vietnamese, two Samoans overseas still, I'm not sure what's happening over there, what's the investigations are leading to, but they we don't know where the investigation, we don't know what's the updates. And the person who does that, who has the power to do these type of things, Prime Minister. But we haven't heard anything from the Prime Minister's office to kind of do something to help or to kind of get an update. Hey, what's happening with our 2 Samoans over there? Nothing. And so I try to ask the opposition leader, like what would he do? And, he said what can be done. So it really comes back to these type of interactions that we have right now to kind of like point out what's the lies, who's telling the truth. And there's a lot of lies being coming out from the government side, a lot of lies. Even to see the Letanuu and these other MPs, Harry Schuster coming out and speaking what it was like back in their time. It's good to kind of see because the truth needs to come out. A lot of Samoans, we don't like to, it's not. I don't think I think Samoans do have, in my perspective of the diaspora, we seem to want to, speak up if something's wrong. We're usually the nationality that if there's someone bullying someone else, a Samoan there, we're always there. Usually a Samoan that speaks up. But when it's happening within our own culture, we seem to be lacking in that part. We seem to be lacking when it comes to like, hey, speaking up for what's right. If you're sitting there, you're usually quiet, but, the way I see it is like, I think because us Samoans, we're so dear to our families, we love our families so much. So I can understand, like you have to show your respect to your family, but, we have the same attitude that we do out in public to our brothers and sisters from other nationalities, to what we do, what's happening in Samoa now. Yes, I don't think the government will be very liked anywhere, but I know a lot of these people that support FAST, it's your uncles or your aunties or your that are involved in the government. Yes, I understand that. Yes, but what? We're not taking it personally against them. These type of MPs that are sitting there. It's just part of the process of making sure Samoa as a whole is taken care of. It's kind of led to another type of, a different type. It's been there since the start. I don't know where it started, but I would say it started when that number 1 fake page, All RP came out. And, when there's stories coming out of that little page there, it just kind of started this kind of wave of just trolls, people that are just like wanting to express gossip. All the gossip is the low-key gossip is in the Samoan society. As soon as All RP came out, everyone just started to kind of saw opening. All the whaikakallas that are really true whaikakallas saw opening, and their eyes must have just lit up and gone, wow, we can do that too. So then you see all these other pages get new Facebook page here. It's so ugly to see from the All RP's time to now, seeing how many ugly comments there are to our own people. Maybe their life is not as nice, but if only we could see, maybe in AI in the future, we could see that everyone who owns a page or who's affiliated with the page, when you're walking around, you can see their, if they are All RP or these fake pages behind, it would just be like, eyes will just be like, whoa, that's what you think in your mind. Some of these things are just so horrendous, embarrassing for our culture. Some of these are old people too. Like not some, a lot are old people. And it's not nice to see. It's not nice to see. At the end of the day, Samoa for Samoa is the main goal. But we're reflecting on the day or what we talked about with Dr. Tuilaepa. The main source is the main story that's coming out. It's the the money issue, and it is big. It is a big embarrassment. This is where we're really hitting on the points of building relationships. This is one thing as a business owner you should understand is if you're going to be successful in business, you have to build relationships. And Lauli's, he's a very charismatic man, and I think he can do it. I honestly think he can, build relationships with other people, with other businesses, or with other nationalities, governments. With other governments. I think he can do a good job. Maybe his English is, people sitting back and saying it's not as good as Dr. Tuilaepa, but still, I reckon run the ball up and still, try your best for the country. And I think he can create a lot of good friends if he was to try. But I can see that it's not happening for the Prime Minister, or what I can see, And there's a lot of covering up, a lot of making sure everything is all premeditated, meaning it's pre-thought out, it's organized ahead of time. That's what a fast is very well planned, very well known for, organized, planned for what's ahead of them. But when it comes to the political aspects of financial planning, that's where you can clearly see it's lacking. That's facts that the government of fast, they don't have clear vision for financial management going ahead for Samoa. So the vision for Samoa in the future, forecasts for fast, if you were to look on the statistics of it, it's probably at a 2, maybe a 2, and so this is where Tuilaepa's statistics would be at a 10. Out of 10, it will be high. And the fast government will be probably at a 2 because, again, no transparency on where the vision or what you're trying to move towards, how well is our financial positioning. We just talked about the Independence Day, which is, yes, it's an important day for Samoans. But $5 million compared to $300,000, that's a big question mark of money management. You don't just spend $5 million. And just to be fair as well, that was $4 million and $1 million was from the emergency funds. So this type of thinking in money management, okay, maybe if Lauli had put this forward, this $5 million, and then we maybe got a relationship from this occasion, or we built leverage against another government to help us to kind of do something to help Samoa. Nothing has come from the $5 million Independence Day, but just joy for our people, which is good. The thing is, we're not against the joy of the people and keeping the people happy. We're not against that. But when we're talking about the management of money, the vision for the people going forward, and when we're talking about the broken promises or the promises that were made to Safata, the promises to the schools that we're going to release the money that was already promised that's going to come out, but you don't prioritize that, and you start to just chuck a party. That's where the values of the government and the values of the Prime Minister is off, and it needs to be called out. That's wrong. I mean, all you fast supporters, you know that's wrong. You deep down know $5 million to 300,000. All you guys saying, we need it for the party. We need it, this is okay. If you're in power as the Prime Minister, I 100% guarantee, well, I'm not sure, because maybe some of you guys are actually serious. But I'm assuming that you guys are not serious. Surely you think that good management is putting $5 million towards a party for the love of your people is a great move. Surely Samoans are not that, dumb. And so we want to, so when I'm looking at it, I'm like, these guys are just on a gang mentality. They just want to say fast for life. They're just so used to the gang. You might as well just make a fast gang patch and get these guys and give it out to these fasts, because this is pretty much what it is. It's like a game. Like you see the Mongol mob and the Black Power, it's the same thing. Well, these guys just all staunch online. And it's funny to see, but then it's kind of sad to see as well, because, you know, when you think about our grandparents and the way they are, the way they've been raised with so much respect, so much honor for our people, to then see these midlife people in their middle ages, grown-ups got their grandparents, got their grandkids, just, you know, looking at their nana and grandpa, just like saying this and saying that to their fellow Samoans. What a sad reality that we have come to. And I hope that this gives more clarity and maybe it helps you, fast supporters, to kind of like understand, hey, maybe it's time that we just kind of ease up and just help our fellow Samoans. Whether you love Laoli or not, I love Laoli as well. Laoli is the Prime Minister, and I love the way he parties. I wish he could be the Prime Minister of partying of Samoa, because this guy will be the man at it. But when it comes to the vision of Samoa and the economics, the relationships with other countries, the banking systems, unfortunately, guys, Laoli is not the man. And Laoli is not the best at that, you know. But when it comes to partying, when it comes to bringing unity for Samoa as in party style or in that category, he's the man. He is definitely the man. But when it comes to politics and economics, I'm afraid that I have to give that to the Honourable Dr. Tuilaepa. He's definitely the man when it comes to the financial side, the financial vision and developments. Hopefully there'll be another person that comes up, you know, a few young leaders coming through Samoa that can stand up and do the same thing. But first, we have to kind of encourage the standing up for what's right. I think that's one of the main attributes. If you want to be a great leader in politics, you have to learn how to stand up for what's right. Or you have to be able to voice it up in your meetings in the government if you're the MP inside the fasts. Or else you're failing with Laoli. And I really hope it helps the MPs in the fast to kind of like second think. I say it a lot of times, second thinking your position as the MP of Samoa. Do your job and help the country. We'll leave it as that. I hope everyone has a great week ahead of them. And yeah, dear Heavenly Father, we ask that you bless all Samoans around the whole world that are listening in, who are not listening in, that we bless them, that may you shine the light upon them, that they treat each other with love and respect, no matter what party you support. We also ask that you help anyone that's doing it hard financially, mentally, or maybe emotionally or physically, that you heal them in that, heal them into your vibration of love, God. And also, we pray that we have a great week ahead of us. In your holy name we pray. Amen. Thank you, guys.